good.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. So you made it through Memorial Day parade and everything, Band Fest parade.
Oh, the parade was spectacular.
Was
it
it
was
good?
so wonderful. The weather was perfect.
Uh-huh.
We were mid parade at number 45. We had the best dogs that just oohed and awed and wowed the crowd.
Right.
I said earlier that this year, for the first time ever, I chose to drive the vehicle instead of walking. I usually carry the banner, so I can wave at everybody and stuff.
Right.
But
you still wave for the vehicle.
Well, I did. Yep. I waved at people and yes, but I had knee surgery. And so I was worried about being able to keep the pace of the parade. But the pace was actually quite doable, like very pleasant. But anyway, we had a great time. The dogs were all perfectly behaved. We always have an incident where somebody on the sidelines has brought their dog and then they lose control of it and just let her go.
Oh, boy. You had that happen, did you?
Yes, we had a little dog come running out to one of our big dogs who's like, oh, someone to play with.
Right.
And little dog was like, ooh, I don't know. Excuse me. So the parade went wonderful and we had a lot of people calling and coming to visit the dogs. And so I was just going through our website. One of the dogs that I know I've talked about here is Timber. She's a Australian Shepherd mix who's just my favorite little girl right now. She's kind of like the dog version of my cat, like super cute and fluffy and very sweet. But anyway, she's adopted.
Oh, good.
When we get in little dogs, we got in this one dog who's a Maltese Shih Tzu Chihuahua.
Oh, nice.
Chorkies, or I don't know what you'd call it. Anyway, he's adopted.
Okay.
So, we're just sending him out like crazy. Marshall. Yeah, Marshall. He's adopted. But I want to talk about Maggie is my new little, we have a ton of dogs that everybody, all of them deserve a loving home. But Maggie,
she's brand new to the.
Yes. And she's breaking our hearts because she was with, I believe, an elderly woman and who could no longer care for her. So she came to us. Maggie is an Australian Shepherd. We're guessing about, oh no, we're not guessing. She's about 8 years old. She is so sweet and loving, but she's used to having her owner be with her. So she's, her owner was home all day. And now all of a sudden Maggie's in the shelter and oh my gosh, she just cries and she's lonely and it's so sad. But she's a small little thing. She does need a grooming. She's like really, really fluffy. Look at that sweet face.
Yeah.
If you're on the Kiss Country YouTube channel, you could see a picture of her right now. Very happy-go-lucky girl, but the minute anybody brings her out of the kennel area, she starts that, like kind of barking, crying, like, I'm so happy to see you and give me attention. And I'm like desperate for attention.
Sure.
And then, you give her some lovin's and then she's just your best friend forever.
Yeah.
But boy, is she a sweet girl. So she is new to the shelter. We are taking applications on her, but I think she still needs to have a little bit more vet work done, like vaccinations and whatnot, just to get her caught up.
Right.
But very sweet dog, great walker. So when we have beautiful days like this today, I encourage people to come out to the shelter to walk dogs. You do have to be 18 or older if you want to just show up. Wear tennis shoes, not Crocs or slides. If you're 16 or 17, all you need to do is have your parent or guardian sign the visitor form that can be found on our website, which is hsni.org. That's HSNI as in Humane Society, North Iowa, .org. And just have them sign off that says it's okay that you're volunteering at the shelter. And then you can come out and walk unsupervised.
All right. Lots going on there at the shelter for the Shelter Scoop. It's all brought to you by the Gunner Vet Clinic and Gunner Pet Resort and Wash. And they've got other animals too, like cats and, all that.
What? You're promoting cats?
Oh, no, that's all the farther we're going with that.
No, let me tell you about all the cats we have.
No, we don't have time.
Dozens and dozens and dozens of cats. We do have, just a quick one. We do have a lot of kitties, but we are overflowing with kittens. We have over 30 kittens in our shelter right now.
Oh, wow.
Not all of them are out in the front because they're still too young to be handled by, the public, but you could literally, but they are all listed on our website. You could literally have your pick of the litter right now. Like if you were looking for, a small orange, tiny kitten or long gray haired kitten, we have them all. So check out our website. You can even filter by kitten on the right-hand side of our homepage. And we also have that adoption special where if you adopt one, you get the second for half off because saving 2 lives is twice as nice.
Well, you do the same thing with a dog, too. Right.
Well, we don't have an oversupply of dogs, so
okay.
we do it to try to help us get through kitten season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey,
It's a losing venture because we put vet work. It costs us more to do the vet work on all the animals, but especially kittens. And so it's a losing venture, but we are more hopeful that the kitties find a forever home. So that's why we offer that special.
Yeah, it's fun when they get together and they fight and sweat, swing and paw.
They have a buddy.
Box at each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of cute that way.
He only likes cats when they're fighting. Got it.
I've never seen him knock out another. It'd be cool to see a cat knock out the other cat. Would that be like a Rocky? And I was just watching Rocky last night.
Cats are too mature for that crap. They're just like, at some point, they're like, okay, I don't want to mess around with this anymore.
Not hurt each other, but you'd find just all of a sudden just get an uppercut or something and just boom. What happened?
Yep. That's why the Humane Society has to pay a weekly visit to Jay Brooks to ensure that he's not harming our little animal friends and putting little boxing gloves on the kitties. And
I think it's funny when you see videos like that all the time on the internet.
My kitty does a kangaroo kick on me when I start playing with him and putting a toy in his face or messing with him. He'll like use his hind legs and kangaroo kick me.
I tell you what, the adoption fee is really affordable for a lot. There's actually a study. I just found this just the other day, yesterday. I found out about the study that owning a dog or a cat in 2025. You know how much it cost? They figure about 15 years.
Gosh,
how much do you think it's going to cost?
Well, for cats,
about 15 years, they say.
Over the span of 15 years, how much would it cost per year?
No, how much would it cost total to have that thing?
Oh, I mean, at least $500 to $1,000 a year. So I'm gonna guess 15,000 for dogs, maybe 10 for cats.
A little low. Yeah, people think it costs about $5,700 to own a cat, about $8,200 per dog. But the actual numbers, at least 20,000 and 22,000
for a dog.
Yeah, the lower one, 20,000 for
I believe that. I'm basing that on the assumption that your animal would be healthy. But like in my case, I had a cat that had diabetes, and so I had to do insulin, human glucose monitor, and human insulin is expensive. And then bi-weekly checks at the office, at the vet's office at $200 a pop.
Right.
That was thousands of dollars.
Right.
We got him in remission, but then he had kidney disease. So then I'm doing fluids at home, medication, really, really expensive food. So I get it. Yeah. I mean, it does rack up, and it is an investment to have a pet, and it's for their lifetime, not yours. Well, I guess for yours too, but it is for all of their lifetime. And before you make that kind of commitment, you do need to make sure that you have the ability to take care of that pet for its entire life.
Well, like I said, it sounds like oh my gosh, but I break it down as about $1,300 for a cat and $1,500 for a dog a year.
Okay, I mean when you factor in food, cat litter, vet visits, vaccines, heartworm protection, that makes perfect sense.
It's a lot of it's annual, with the like tick season right now. And all that. So we just had to have that with our dog. So
and that is not a cheap little drop of medicine, is it?
I don't know how much it costs. The wife pays for it.
Oh well, it's spendy.
I got it made. I paid for the dog. That was my big expense. And I tell you what, those mutts are expensive. That's what they would have been called back in the day, a Labradoodle.
Oh yeah, it's a mutt. Now they call them designer dogs, so they can add an extra zero at the end.
Right, exactly. I know. I was like, what? I could have got the thing for $100, 20 years ago, and now it costs me $1,000.
Yep.
Sometimes they even hire 2,000-3,000, depending on what kind of dog and the breed it is.
Well, and that's why at the shelter we have a lot of dogs that are purebred dogs. We may not know it because we don't have papers on them.
Right.
And once an animal is snipped, they are no longer papered,
right?
Because papers are for breeding. But anyway, we have a lot of the breeds that people are wanting though, and for a much cheaper fee for the adoption fee.
That's what I'm getting at.
Which then includes,
you can buy a mutt for $125 or whatever the adoption fee is,
and that includes the spay and neuter surgery, spay or neuter. We don't do both. And all of the veterinarian care, the exam. We also do a lot of extra things that other shelters don't do. So like, if a dog, have you ever had a dental on any of your dogs?
Yeah, Max.
Expensive.
I know.
Yeah. I had several on my kitty.
I could have knocked him out a lot cheaper.
Oh, God. Okay. Again, this is why the Humane Society has to check in on Jay Brooks weekly to make sure he's not harming animal friends. He's like a level 2, not
Yeah.
offender, but I will say commenter.
Yeah.
But yeah, dentals are extremely expensive, but they're very important to your, like visiting the dentist for yourself. That's an important part of your health. And, dental problems can cause all sorts of issues with humans. Same thing with animals. But dentals are not cheap.
No, they're not.
And your animal usually ends up losing some teeth.
They had soft food for the rest of their life.
Well, I had a kitty who at the end had 0 teeth, but he was able to just gum his kibble. He swallowed it whole. He had no problems. He was chubby.
You're giving him gummies?
No, he'd gum it with his gums.
Oh, he'd gum? Oh,
no.
Okay. See, now we got to start checking up on Sybil because you're giving the animals gummies.
That would have been me because it was a very stressful time with my kitties. Anytime you have an animal that's sick, you're like, oh God, you're like
you're taking the gummies.
Convalescence care nurse.
You're taking the gummies.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Let's just start all sorts of.
Okay, well, come out to the Humane Society. It's a drug-free zone.
Yeah.
Aside from the occasional catnip.
Yeah.
But we're open today. We're open Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 4, and then Saturday, 10 to 2. It is a beautiful day. Come on out, walk some dogs, hang out with some kitties, say hi, and have a great day.
All right, Sybil, thanks for stopping by and getting us all informed.
Thank you for your information.
This is Market Matters on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by Beck's Hybrids, extraordinary